I'm Clete and I'm the past Commodore of the Schuykill Navy. I was the Commodore for about 9 years, stepped down about a year and a half ago, and my good friend John Hogan followed me, so he's been the Commodore since January 1st, 2010. And my predecessor was Commodore for about 7 years, so there's been a lot of continuity over the past 15, 20 years. I used to coach St. Joe's University women's team, and we rowed out of Crescent Boat Club right behind us, and became friends with Steve Arova, who was then the Commodore of the Schuykill Navy. And he sucked me into being an officer of the Schuykill Navy, and then when he moved on, I moved up, and then I followed Ed and became the Commodore. So that's how I got sucked in. How'd you get drawn into this quagmire?
Well, I think you sucked me in, or lured me in, or shanghaied me. But that's it. It's volunteers, and you join one thing and you join another, and you kind of move up the ranks. The Schuykill Navy is the governing body of the 12 boat clubs on BoatHouse Row. So we run regattas, and like tonight we'll have a meeting and we have to discuss some perceived violations of traffic patterns and boats not doing what they should have been doing and coaches not doing what they should have been doing. So it's kind of as an overseer and a referee often. I never rowed in high school, never rowed in college. Started rowing in 1999 for exercise. Done a lot of road racing, run bicycling, that sort of thing. And a friend of mine, I lived in Philadelphia all my life and always wondered about what happens here, and he brought me down. So again, the clubs are open to the public for membership. And you just have to find the right one that fits you and which one has a Learn to Row program, which I did. So you just have to do a little research, and there's a website, www.boathouserow.org, and the clubs are listed, and you can contact them and see which one has a Learn to Row program. And they're very welcoming. They're looking for members, and you just join.
Basically what they do is they'll set you up with an experienced rower, typically a college kid or maybe a kid a couple years out of college who has some rowing experience, and they'll hook you up on a one-to-one basis, put you in a little boat, and you're paying a nominal fee for a temporary membership and to pay the kid's salary, but it's relatively inexpensive. Not bad at all. And they kind of get you through the first 3 or 4 lessons pretty nicely and then can move you into another program.
We'd love to talk about Philadelphia City Rowing. We're both board members of Philadelphia City Rowing. For many, many years, there's been a gap in the rowing participation here. Many of the high schools that row are from the suburbs or the private academies in the city and so on and so forth. But there's never been Philadelphia public schools rowing on the river. Every so often there might be one kid from one school or things like that, but there's never been a program. And we have pushed for it and want it to happen, and finally about 2 years ago, a young woman named Libby Peters, just a dynamo of a woman, came up with it, planned it, had a business plan, got funding, just did all the research, and just went through with it. And that's what's happening now. So it's a program that's citywide through all public high school kids.
School District of City of Philadelphia.
Right, City of Philadelphia. They have, again, it's first part, it's kind of Learn to Row. They have boats, they have excellent coaching. They're doing very well at the early regattas. They're novice kids. Are doing very well. There's a lot of potential for them. So it's really exciting, and it's just so great to see Philadelphia kids on the river. What we always say is their river, and it's about time. So we're really excited about it. I know you'll.
Yeah. So Libby has worked closely with the Fairmont Park Commission, now Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, and the School District of Philadelphia is actively involved. The mayor's office is very supportive. And so she's done all the right things, and this is really a collaborative effort. A couple of the clubs have donated some equipment, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not just in Philadelphia, but nationally, I would say. And we see it in the statistics at Stotesbury, for example, high schools. And a lot of the growth is on the female side. Probably it's evened out by now, but maybe 20 years ago that was not the case. But Stotesbury Cup Regatta, 51% of our competitors are girls. So very good equity between the genders in rowing, both at the high school level and the collegiate level and the masters level. So masters in rowing is somebody over the age of 27. We'll have people up into their 80s competing, and that includes both men and women. Very active competitors on both sides of the fence.
The two things that have really changed rowing, and I'm speaking fairly as a newcomer, is women in rowing. You're familiar with Title IX at the college level, of course, and what was happening is parents who had high school girls saw it as a great opportunity for their daughters to get into college, to get that scholarship. So schools that never had rowing programs before suddenly were developing their own programs. It's kind of petered out and it's kind of leveled off, but there was a tremendous explosion of high schools taking on rowing programs specifically because of Title IX. They wanted to get those girls into scholarships. And one of the ironic things was there's, because of Title IX, places in the United States that almost barely have a body of water have rowing teams now. We go through this all the time, debating this, but as far as dollars and cents, economics to the city, it's very important. Specifically, I would say for the regattas. The regattas bring in, I mean, we fill hotel rooms, restaurant seats, our vendors, people are dropping money at our vendors. We know that through the community, the Wawas and the supermarkets, people are buying supplies for their teams there. So we know we have a big economic impact on the city.
And I think it gives visitors a good taste of Philadelphia. You know, they come to Philadelphia, they stand on the banks of the river and watch the rowing races. They get a good impression of Philadelphia.
Almost daily, though, I try to make sure I don't take it for granted. You know, you'll finish a row and you'll stand on the porch on the river side of the building and you see the $1 million view. Or you watch everybody on the expressway stuck in traffic. And you just stand there and it's just, don't take this for granted. It's just a wonderful thing.
What do you guys think of BoatHouse Row?